Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me to watch this video on how I created this Happy Days layout for Bramble Fox. I used the light bulb spelling Happy Days as my title. That came with the January Bramble Fox box. And I also used one of the stencils from Bramble Fox. I absolutely love those little plus sign stencil. I've been using it quite a bit lately. I think it's super modern, it's super on trend, and the quality of the stencil is so good that it actually gives you a really clear and crisp design. So I absolutely love it. One of my must-have, and I use it a lot. So I've used some colour paste from ID Swap on my background, and then I dried it with my heat gun. I often do that because I'm short of time with Sophia, so I very lightly dried it, and then I started to play around with placement. Absolutely love those little bows from Pink Fresh Studio, and they were part of my hip kit from the January hip kit box. So there I am, I'm playing with the layer jar with some hearts from Bramble Fox, trimming my photo down to size. I've also cut out some flowers from the cut files from hip kit. They were the flowers that were on the wreath. And what I did is I only cut out the flowers because I didn't need the wreath. I just wanted to use the flowers as a little accent underneath around my photo in the corner. So I'm now mounting my photo on some pattern paper, still again from Pink Fresh Studio. So cutting off what I need from this little sheet of paper, measuring exactly the dimension. I always use a craft knife and a ruler. I feel more comfortable with the dimension. I'm really a sucker for details and for the right measures, and I feel that every time I've used a paper trimmer, it's never been quite right, whereas when I've used my ruler, my craft knife, I've always had it cut absolutely perfectly. So this is why I'm one of the old school. I distressed the edges of my paper with my pair of scissors. So you can use a nail file if you're worried of cutting yourself with the scissors. There are also some tools especially designed to distress paper. Personally, I'm a cheapskate and I just use scissors because I'm rather spend money on papers and embellishment than on certain tools. So I use my scissors, and I glued my photo directly onto my paper. So there you go. So that pink brought a little bit of a colourful frame. I didn't want to just stick with the blue, and it's the same pink as in the bow, so it kind of repeats itself. And that's my colour scheme really for this layout, is that teal and the pink, the grey from the paper. Love this paper from Pink Fresh Studio again. And yeah, so I've added little dots of glues here and there. I didn't want the cut file to be fully glued to my paper. I just wanted it to be slightly attached, just so it could kind of hover around my page. It still has some loose bit, so it gives it that volume. It's almost as if it's coming out of the layout, and I do like that with a cut file. I like when it's not fully glued to my background. If I don't back it, I like to give it that airy kind of look. So still playing around with the placements, and I'm happy with where I've placed my light bulb, so I'm gonna glue them down to my paper. So there you go. Add in with a glossy accent. I think it just works really well with the Perspectives. It really give it a solid placement and then it doesn't budge. You're not going to find your perspective in 2 years' time loose in your album. It just really is solid, and once it's there, it stays. So you better in somewhere, you better being sure of where you place it if you use this glue. I also use the same for attaching the bows to my perspectives. Same again, it's just to make sure it is fully secured and it won't budge. So there you go, placing it and attaching that layer jar behind my photograph and adding a layer heart there in a corner. I want it then to layer a few flowers around my cut files, keep giving it that spring kind of look, and I'm pulling out some of the flowers from the Pink Fresh Studio pack and I'm playing with placement again. And I quite like the idea of putting them flowers around the jar, just to give it the impression that it's actually inside the jar, and I like that. So I went with that and decided to glue it in place. I tried another colour first, but then no, I preferred the just the blue by itself. So I stuck with the blue. And once I'm happy with something, usually I just glue it down. I don't place everything and then glue everything down. I usually place one thing, I'm happy with it, I glue it down, and then I go on to the next step. It's something you would have learned about me watching my videos. I am then adding the other hearts to balance. I like the rules of 3, and I like to create a triangle around my picture. So if you see here, I've created a visual triangle with the light bulb, the heart on the right and the heart on the left, and that helps the eye to focus on the photograph, because your eye is naturally attracted to that triangle dynamic. And it's something that if you observe my layout, you'll see quite often. I will create a visual triangle of some sort, so either with flowers, either with embellishments, sometimes with papers. It's something that I repeat quite often. And same, you've got flowers on the left, the pot on the right, the bows on the top, and that's again, it's another visual triangle, and it's something that I do repeat quite a lot. So there you go. So that's that triangle. So you've got those pink flowers I've just added and the bows and the jar on the right. And there you've got that pink triangle to reinforce the tail triangle. So I added the Hello You title from Pink Fresh Studio, and as you will see later in my final layout, off camera I decided to remove it. I thought that it was getting lost with all the cut file. It was too much thin details on top of thin detail, and I thought also that this layout was too light to go with a bigger title, and I was happy that my light bulb would be the title of my layout, so I decided to remove that Hello You later on. You also noticed I've cut down one of my ephemeras to save one of the flowers, and that's something that you can easily do. Feel free to do that. You can cut down your embellishment, and it's something I spoke about in my previous video, is to really try and make your embellishment work for what you need. And in this instance, I needed one single flower and I didn't have that, but I was able to get that out of that big ephemera, and I'm quite happy with that. And at the same time, because that flower was not printed with the others, I will still be able to use that ephemera on another layout. So that's a win-win really. Here I'm stamping around my journaling, so always using my trusted stamps. As you can see, it's a time-consuming process, but it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I don't know, it's just a little peaceful thing that I like to do at the end of creating my layouts. When I reach the journaling, usually it's when I'm happy with my layout and I'm told the story I wanted to tell in paper and embellishments, and it's time to put it into words and leave it for Sophia maybe in a few years to read or to look at, and maybe for myself to remember and look back on. And yeah, it's something that I like to do. I like to sit down, and that slower process really let me soak it in and think about what I want to say. I then added my date at the corner, but the perspective was in the way of my stamps, so the month was missing, and I decided to just add it with my other normal stamps, and I quite like the effect of the mix of font at the top there. So there you go, just drawing a few hearts around my page to add a few more little bits of black to repeat the date and my journaling, and add a little detail. I think it kind of follow up the splashes of the water of Sophia in a bath, and drawing the little line for the light bulbs just to make them come down from somewhere and make it all make sense. So there you go. So as you can see, I've removed the Hello You, and I'm really happy with how this layout turned out. I hope you liked it too. I hope you enjoyed the process video. Thank you for all your comments, and if you enjoyed it, please follow my YouTube channel and follow the Bramble Fox YouTube channel for even more inspiration from the rest of the design team. Thanks, bye!